We got so excited to record to make my microphone sound less like a pile of dog shit. Well, we were just getting ready with our beautiful notes for this week's Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling. Episode 28. What's going on, James? How you doing?
And you're Sean.
And I'm Sean. And this is the podcast where me and James go through season 1 of Lucha Underground. Thank you, El Rey Network. Robert Rodriguez, you've done it again.
Oh man, Desperado, till dusk till dawn, all Spy Kids related media.
Every single one. Shark Boy and Lava Girl,
He's got the look. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be wild if it looked so much like Spy Kids and it was just some other guy entirely.
You want to know what? Spy Kids walk so Sin City could run. That is a true statement.
And the cinephiles aren't ready to talk about it yet. But you know what? Here we are talking about it. So
that's
talk about it, James.
Machete swiped so the faculty could be made 10 years prior. Something like that.
Yeah, sure.
I forgot. I was like, I don't know any of the his horror movies post Machete. I think I need to go back to the faculty.
Planet Terror is one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. He cut off his own daughter's leg so that she could have a gun for a leg.
I think Nicole has that and was like, we got to watch this. But now that I know it's Robert Rodriguez, I'm going to check it out.
Let's go. It's fun. I think I watched it in college and I had a good time. But back in college, I didn't know that I needed this hot lucha action in the middle of an abandoned temple in Boyle Heights, Los Angeles. Do you like how I swerved back to the talking points?
Hated it.
Oh, okay.
We need to bloat this episode, Sean. I'm kidding. It's the opposite. I have a recording in an hour.
All right.
And I also just drank a bunch of coffee, so I'm fingers crossed you don't have to be here for 15 minutes just vamping while I use the bathroom.
Let's find out. Before we break it down, fun episode.
Oh, yeah.
Very story-heavy episode. A lot of backstage stuff. All of them, I think, because there were only 3 matches or 4 matches tonight. Really short matches. Except for the last one, which blew it out of the water.
I mean, it's still a short match for a championship match. Think of if you were to be watching WrestleMania and you're like, whoa, this is a championship match. Everything's been leading up to this. Ho-ho! 35 minutes.
But you're also, well, actually, I don't think WWE ever really goes for 35 minutes.
There was a tables, ladders, chair match between I think it was John Cena and CM Punk, or it was John Cena and Randy Orton match from 2009, 2010 that was so long. And I was just with my friend Cord being like, why is this still going? Everyone has used their finishing move possibly 3 times each.
Yeah, man. I always look in my mirror every day and say, you make sure you don't let people know how much you love Okada and Omega going for an hour at the Tokyo Dome.
Ugh.
I love it. But it's stylistically.
Okay.
Also, there is a difference between television and pay-per-views, I guess, too.
Yeah.
Where there is an era of finality to a pay-per-view. We still got a couple episodes before the season finale. So this being and also the trios division, it's weird. Because the trios division is not as high-end, as luxurious, maybe, as the singles division is right now. Mm-hmm. There are some still comedy goof-em-ups with this here odd throuple. But we'll get to them. But to get to them, we gotta start at the desk. With Matt Striker's new hand sign, he tries out a little L and a U with his fingers. He shrugs. He's like, oh, I guess that's not it yet. And then Vampiro is in a good mood tonight. Hell yeah! That one bricked, and I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Can you give me a good hell yeah?
Oh, hell yeah.
He was so angry to be accused of being in a good mood.
Yeah, he was so well prepared and just, again, the little brother energy. Whenever Matt Striker is talking, he does not know what to do with himself, so he just mimes what is going on. And Vampiro is a goddamn professional broadcaster who is welcome here anytime he wants, because as soon, like if he's about to talk, but then hears Matt Stryker start talking, he immediately shuts up. He knows not to talk over other people. And I was like, yes,
Yeah,
Vampiro.
Dave, I don't want you to finish that. Shut
all
the
right.
fuck up.
I knew you were going to do that bit.
What?
Yes.
Huh? No way. Vampiro is absolutely welcome here. Also, something I found out since the last time we recorded is there are essentially two versions of every episode of Lucha Underground, an English version and a Spanish version.
Whoa. And
not just like we dub. Some people get dubbed over. We'll see later. El Dragon Azteca very much was just dubbed over.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, it's all like all the backstage scenes. They film twice in Spanish and English.
Whoa.
All of the commentary is done twice. And guess who's on both?
Is it Vampiro?
It's motherfucking Vampiro,
Whoa, wait.
baby.
So
yeah.
Who's Vampiro's commentary partner?
It was, oh my gosh, and I knew this. It was an ex-WWE, Hugo Savinovich, I think.
Okay.
Who used to do Spanish commentary for WWE. But yeah, so Vampiro is not, like, for Vampiro to have this, like, just high energy, angry to be this in a good mood, energy and carry it over for 2 records that's kind of crazy. That's so impressive to me. Vampiro, you are absolutely welcome on this channel anytime. You're doing the Lord's work. And he's shouting out Robert Trujillo again, which is very important to me.
And credits Metallica. Howard Kramer on Drop Date Duel. It was Metallica versus some other thrash metal band, and kept like not making a joke out of it. Just kept saying Metallica as if he had never heard it pronounced out loud, but was so funny because he wasn't saying it like it's a joke, just saying it as if that's the name of the band.
I got confused because there is a wrestler whose name is Metallic, and that's not what you said, but it was very close, and I was... Anyway, we have a match tonight.
And Vampiro has King Donkey Kong energy because he starts like going, pounding his chest.
He's in such a good mood. Like, that's what I love about Vampiro, is that when he is in a good mood, he's angry with how good of a mood he's in. He's not angry in a bad mood. He's angry because of how just joyous he is.
Imagine this. If Vampiro were on this show, Sean would be so bombarded with the same energy from Vampiro and I, just constantly coming at him.
It would be menacing if Vampiro ever guested on a Pissmas. I think he would. Oh, it would be unlistenable in the most exciting way possible.
I mean, for Pissmas, I am the most reserved. Like,
That's true.
Sit back because there are so many people, and I don't want to talk over people. So just imagining a world where, like, Vampiro, if it was just Vampiro, myself, Nicole, and you, possibly. But once we start getting into, like, the 5 or 6 guest Pissmas episodes, then I'm like, I don't want to talk.
I thought about doing the bit again, and I'm glad I did it because I'm so excited for this first match. A debuting match, a first of Marty the Moth Martinez, or Marty the Moth, also known as Marty Casal. Make sure you check him out on Twitch. I like that guy. Marty, already in the ring, inhaling ring announcer Melissa Santos's perfume while flapping his meaty moth arms. This is a creepy little man.
Yeah, you can't be an interloper here unwelcomed and be a creep just sucking in the air of someone's hair in front of you. Well, like kind of rubbing your dick on her butt.
Yeah, sniffing her hair, really grinding on that ass, and flapping his... And the thing is, at least those are two, like... I've seen people do that. I know that to be a form of human behavior, But to add in the flapping of the arms, this is a silly, creepy little man.
Okay, Sean, I thought you were going to say, and like I've seen moths do all that stuff, and I was like, okay, I can. The flapping, yes. The sniffing hair, possibly, like they get into people's stuff, but the rubbing on the butts. But then I could tell a story where I was working at a construction site. And we were in the basement. This would have been like the drywall is up and everything else is starting to be placed in. I was installing an industrial-sized trash chute with my father. He says, hey, go upstairs and like weasel down. Yeah, I know the terms. Weasel down this cable, this crank cable to like go up. I'm like, awesome. And like my back feels like heavy, but I don't know what it is. We were in the basement. So like I come back down and like I'm looking at something else and my dad goes, James, there is a giant moth on your back. And I am freaked out of moths. I start freaking out and this moth was like this big, like a small size dinner plate on my back. And I'm like, no, it was humping my butt.
It was Marty the Moth.
I know, he polymorphed.
Yeah, just like how he got into Lucha Underground. He was a super fan that hung outside the building, then interfered in a triple threat match and decided to break into the business. Yeah. And your dad is Dario Cueto, who booked him to hump your back. The metaphor fell apart.
And who am I in this scenario?
Marty the Moth's first opponent, of course, the Lucha Underground champ. Okay. This is how I thought you were trying to get us back to talking about the match.
No, I am, but who in this scenario, if he's humping my back, who would I be?
Okay, you're Melissa Santos.
Yes, boy, don't I wish.
And his opponent tonight, the Lucha Underground champion, Prince Puma, of course, with the only thing Vampiro does not like about him, Conan in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I like this as a first match, as a sort of, hey, welcome to the temple. Here's the fucking champion.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. You're a creep, but thankfully we're in a combat sports. So by giving you an opportunity, we're giving you a chance, and we're also taking a giant dump on your chest by having Prince Puma kick your ass.
I think like 10 episodes ago, this matchup wouldn't have been with Puma to show like this is what the temple's all about. It would have been with Mill.
It could have been with Mill. Yeah, 10 weeks ago, because I was going to say Cage, but Cage doesn't come in until I think that's week 5 or so. So yeah, Mill would have been a good one.
Yeah.
But they're also setting this guy up in a way. Well, we'll get into the match a little bit. Conan immediately tells Puma, this guy's a joke. Treat him like a joke. But Puma's Puma. He offers the handshake.
Mm-hmm. But hey, Sean, that's reviews of our podcast.
Hey, wait, what was? Oh.
We're a joke, so treat us like a joke.
Treat these guys like jokes? Yeah. Hey, that's reviews on what the girls at the Bunny Ranch say about me every time I come through. Is the Bunny Ranch still a thing?
The Bunny Ranch absolutely is not a thing anymore.
All right. Anyway.
You're just hanging out with Anna Faris?
Yeah, pretty much. Puma offers the handshake, but moths have got a hug. So he just brings him in real tight. The temple faithful start chanting, kiss him, kiss him, kiss him. I start chanting, kiss him, kiss him. But instead, Marty's like, you know what? Let's get a camera. How often am I going to get a shot to get a photo op with the champion like this? So he's like signaling a camera, give me a camera. And while Puma's confused, befuddled, baffled, lariat. Marty the Moth is not just a creepy little guy, he's a creepy little cheatier guy. He's using Puma's sweetness against him.
Good. It will wise Puma up to the snakes in the temple, mainly Conan. Yeah, guys, this is the episode I finally heed the words of my mentor, Vampiro.
Conan spends the entire match just kind of screaming at Puma, like really barking orders at Puma. But Puma never really listens. There's a lot of like, stop, why are you getting hit? Stop getting hit. And they call it out on commentary. There's a sort of a difference in like where Puma's not so much listening to Conan as he's listening to the fans, to the people.
I have written down Puma is a gladiator in the sense that, like that game Gladiator Begins, I think is what it's called, that I played on stream. You have to play as a gladiator going through all these gladiator matches. If you go in and you could, if you're strong enough, destroy someone in 5 seconds, you're not going to get all the money that is up for grabs because the audience needs to be entertained. They don't want to see a 5-second squash match and decapitate someone's head. No, they want to see it evolve. They want to see the story, and Puma provides that.
Yeah, Puma hits his blue thunder bomb. Conan's like, cover him. And there's a very sweet moment of Puma kind of looking past Conan to the audience, being like, but I could do a flip. And Conan's just like, no, cover him. But I could do a flip. And so he gets on the top turnbuckle, big 630 splash, finishes the moth at 3 minutes, 50 seconds.
We should say the moth does have that hard-hitting, strong style from Japan.
Do they say that?
No, I said we should say that.
Why should we say that?
Because he's hitting real hard.
He's hitting pretty hard. I mean, it's weird. I think most of the matches tonight are just like, it's so funny because that strong style, so much of it's like attributed to Japan, but I think a lot of it's just not the WWE style. Like, we in this country, and specifically those of us that grew up with WWE being our only company, are so used to that style that we don't realize we're the weird ones. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. We don't realize that our like slowed down, maybe softened for TV style is actually the different style.
Yeah.
And then most other places are just like, nah, like make it look good.
It's like your grandfather finding out queer people exist. Ew.
That's actually a perfect metaphor. Yeah.
Also, we hinted last episode that I would come and kind of like detail and figure out why Vampiro and Conan have beef. However, it is a goddamn storybook. So we will be doing a bonus episode on this feed sometime in the future once I have just all of it plotted out, because there's so much stuff. This is one detail that I will say. Conan was like, Vampiro was a loner. He didn't have a lot of friends, and promotions would set him up with specific people to kind of be his babysitter. The only friend, Conan says this, the only friend I ever saw Vampiro have as a legitimate friend, who was
the
it?
Insane Clown Posse.
No, this was before
what
WCW.
Is it Gigolo? I don't know. Oh.
So who was it, Sean? You know this person.
I know. It's Shaggy Two Dope and Violent J of the Insane.
Think back.
My Hax is my homie.
It was a wrestler you always mentioned, and it was a wrestler who came up in a Vampiro thing that we watched.
Oh, yo, it's not. Is it Black Magic Norman Smiley?
Yeah, he said the only friend Vampiro ever was seen having was Norman Smiley, which makes sense. That's why he was in that movie.
Norman Smiley is he's the only friend I need if I was a wrestler in Mexico during the late 80s, early 90s.
God, I would love to go back in time and I wish we could live during that time.
I wish I could have been Vampiro's second friend, but it's really just so I can get closer to Norman Smiley. Vampiro, I'm sorry. I just really love Norman. He's awesome. He's the Wiggle, man. That's so cool.
Vampiro, I wish I could be your friend so I could shit talk Conan too.
Yeah, and maybe but Conan's gonna be busy shit talking Hernandez, who appears at the top of the ramp after the match. Hernandez, of course, the number one contender, formerly Conan's boy, but now Conan realizes is just a bitch. And Conan calls Hernandez out right now. Crowd get real into it. They shout Cuero. Conan shouts Orale, and Hernandez walks away. So they're still mad at each other.
Oh, you missed a quote that I was like, this is very good. Conan says, "You make lambs look dangerous."
I mean, Conan is a great talker. Like, it's so funny. I'm very glad they put him with Puma. The first couple weeks, it's so weird because Conan is such like, I mean, Conan was in the NWO Black and Red, the Wolfpack, which was Kevin Nash, Sting, Luger. Like when NWO got kind of too Hoganed, this is a very anti-Hogan take on the NWO. All you Hoganites out there, I don't apologize, but I get why you'd be mad at me. When it got a little, and Hogan was always a little cheesy, a little corny. Kevin Nash sort of broke off into the Black and Red with Conan and the other names I mentioned, and that became the merch seller real quick. That very quickly became the cool NWO. And Conan, like, ever since has been riding that wave of like even when he's a babyface, still being kind of a badass. With 3 Live Crew, with Filthy Animals, him being this kind of like, fuck you, I do what I want, grab rolling lariat, grab my nuts, versus Puma, who is just white meat, very like babyface, like super, like Clark Kent, drinks the whole milk, believes in Santa Claus still style babyface. They definitely contrast, but it's really nice.
Yeah. I will also say in my research, I saw what is credited, at least in WCW, as Vampiro and Conan's first match, and it is intense.
Oh, in WCW?
Yeah.
Do you remember what year it was?
No.
All right. I want to say, I mean, I'm surprised. I want to be surprised. Vampiro, especially, I don't know enough about Vampiro, but like learning that part that he was always kind of a loner. Those are the people that usually have that chip on the shoulder to prove. Mm-hmm. And getting on television is such a well, yeah, I'm going to kick the shit out of you. I want people to, I want to get booked. Even if I don't get booked here, at least I have a television match that other places can look at and be like, yeah, this guy looks awesome.
Yeah, it was real good.
Yeah.
And I re-listened to the song he's on with Insane Clown Posse and Twisted and Blaze Your Dead Homie. I need to send you that because he's the intro. It's baffling.
Did we not listen to, that's one of the Lotus.
Nope.
Really?
Because it was on Freak Show, one of Twisted solo albums.
Oh, yeah, you absolutely have to send me that. And we have to get to this Vampiro sit-down interview with Johnny Mundo.
Oh, real quick.
Yes.
This Hernandez interaction made me think Conan is playing Puma, but we'll talk more about that if it ever comes up.
Yeah, I'll say this. I haven't seen anything specifically give it away now, but based on Conan and what I know about Conan, I assume Conan will betray Puma.
Oh yeah.
I just feel that in my bones.
Oh, so lambs have a strong neck; they can ram you. So maybe calm down. They are dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, ba lamb you.
All lambs.
Sheep be true.
I was gonna say all lambs are dangerous. All animals are dangerous when they're wild, guys.
Yeah, the most dangerous animal in wild, man.
Uh-huh.
And Johnny Mundo's.
Ooh.
Who attacked Alberto? A quick little reminder. Oh, actually, we'll get into it in the interview. Vampiro has a sit down with Johnny. The office windows now all boarded up after Johnny smashed Alberto's face through it last week in Alberto's no disqualification #1 contendership match. Vampiro wants to know why. Johnny Mundo lets him know he came down here to prove that he's the best in the world, and he has. Therefore, no one else is as good as me. Vampiro's like, but the window. Alberto's and windows are expensive. Answer the question. And Mundo continues kind of dodge. He goes, well, I've known Alberto a long time. I had to make a statement. That was a statement. But he's very cool. He's very laid back. He's very calculated. And Vampiro, I am saying this not to just trash on you, but just as a criticism. You can calm down a little bit. Vampiro gets it's weird. He's imprinting. He's projecting a lot on a Johnny in this interview. I don't know if you noticed it. Because he goes he puts down the paper. He's like, all right, now don't swing at me. Now please calm down. Guy who has really exhibited no signs of anger. A guy who has been calm, collected, controlled this entire interview please don't be angry with, like, he keeps like imprinting this anger onto Johnny, which is a very old school way of turning babyface to heel. Of like, oh, he's so angry, he just couldn't do it anymore. It's like, yeah, like I feel like there was some old schoolness back there of like, and you really need to fire up in this interview. And Johnny, I don't think he needs to be an angry bad guy.
No.
Like, I think what he's doing here of being like, well, no, I think I'm better than everyone. Like, sort of, I'm above it all. Really like snob. And snobs aren't, when I think of a snob, I don't usually think of an angry, scary bad guy.
Yeah.
I think it's less about being scared of him. It's more about like, I kind of want to see him get his face punched in.
Yeah.
Because he's just so smarky. And it's like, but it's like, it's so odd for Vampiro to just be like, oh, no, please don't hit. Oh, no, Johnny, don't do it. Johnny, don't do it. And Johnny's just like sitting there casually sipping tea. It's weird.
Okay, so we had a slightly different upbringing in the sense of our schooling. You went to Catholic school.
I did.
I went to public school. So I got none of what you are saying from Vampiro. He is acting, and I don't know if you got in trouble and were sent to the principal's office like once a week usually, correct? No?
No, I was a pretty good kid.
Okay, well, I was not, especially like into up through middle school. Vampiro was talking exactly like an assistant principal or vice principal of an like intermediate to middle school, because I'm like, holy shit, he's talking like, hey, you want to know? You're not telling me what you are really thinking. Like, I just need to know why. You're saying the how, but not the why.
I think that would be fair because he is doing that, and that's awesome. Because the final question is like, he finally kind of gets to it. He asks, now don't hit me, but are you jealous? Like, is this what this is? Is jealousy? And Mundo clears that up. It's like, are you jealous of El Patron?
In such a perfect way of, this is summing it up. I don't give a shit about what he did or who his daddy is.
Yeah, actually, this is the one time I wrote down, like, his quotes here are perfect. Mm-hmm. El Patron, word for word, I'm going to cut some stuff out, but El Patron is done. Maybe he thought I was someone from catering who could slap around. I'm not. Alberto, and the way, which is why, again, because I think he does nail that sort of vice principal energy of like, you saying the how, you're dodging the questions, but tell me why. Mm-hmm. But he is projecting this anger that's not there, which is that's distracting. Like, that is happening. I would ask you to go back and double check that, because he is like really pushing for, please don't hit me. And he's like, not. Okay. He's so like, he's really not bringing that. Yeah. Like, he's making it feel like Johnny's acting out of a place of impulsiveness, where that's not the energy I'm getting from this interview and Johnny's character at all right now.
That's also what assistant vice principals would do. It's also not a vice principal. Like, I'm not using those words interchangeable with assistant and vice principal. I'm specifically talking about assistant vice principals.
Mm-hmm. Someone who's so low enough on the pecking order that their job is to interact with students.
Yeah.
But like, the thing that like gets me, like, yeah, it's not that he's jealous of Alberto. He's done with Alberto. The way Johnny sort of serves this backhanded compliment, Alberto is a naturally gifted second-generation luchador. They're kind words, but you pick it apart, he didn't have to work hard to get good. He didn't have to work hard for his opportunities. Like that. Like, it's like, and that's why it's like, yeah, that's why he's not an angry, like, sort of force to be reckoned with. He's very cunning. He's manipulating. Yeah. And I love that.
I love how it ends.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's he just lets him know Johnny Mundo is the biggest star in Lucha Underground. This is my world. Cut to the close-up. But you already knew that. Wink. Chimes in the background.
It's like a Looney Tunes wink, guys.
He has huge character developments for the supernatural in this temple. Johnny A has a catchphrase now, but you already knew that. And he has post-production superpowers. Like, I don't know what a wink with chimes mean in the grand scheme of superpowers, but Johnny has a new superpower, and I'm terrified to find out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's interesting. We do have different takes on it. I think I like what Johnny's doing. I don't know if Vampiro totally got it, but we'll see how it plays out, and we'll see what the Office want to do with him. Speaking of the Office, Dario Cueto's in the Office with the crew.
He's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not. On NBC's The Office?
We're doing this bit again?
Yahoo!
I thought I sandbagged it strongly last week. Dario Cueto is hanging out with Stanley and Michael and the crew, who listen to Dario describe an ancient ritual sacrifice. Dario demands a sacrifice to be made in the main event tonight, the ladder trios title match against the Odd Throuple. And if they do not, even the gods will be angered, and Dario knows someone who has no problem sacrificing the crew.
He was very much sounding like a cult leader, because the direct quote was, "You won't anger just me, but the gods too."
Yeah. It's funny because I think, unlike most cult leaders, Dario does have some powerful magic behind him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a multi-level marketing scheme. But he does behave like he has the powers of an actual supernatural villain, but he does everything like a very cheap suited cult leader. And Dario's such a fun character. Dario for the next Marvel movie. I'm calling it. Dario Cueto versus the Fantastic Four.
Oh, he'd be I don't know other enemies, but he would be maybe like right now. It's now 7 years later, but during this time, he would have been the right age for a Dr. Doom, Victor Von.
I mean, I could cast him as Victor Von Doom. I don't think, did they just get King the Conqueror, and I only know so many Fantastic Four villains.
Ooh, King of the Mole People.
I'm thinking, no, he just is Dario Cueto. I'm not even like that was my initial intent. I just want him to play Dario Cueto.
I think
a mastermind of the Los Angeles real estate and supernatural division.
I think he would also make a good foil for an Iron Man of just being an arms dealer.
Yeah, which I think he also might be doing.
What if he would be great in Lords of War, the sequel to Lord of War, the Nick Cage movie coming out in a few years.
Yeah, or Lords of Dogtown, the story of some of the first 3 skateboarders in this country to really blow it up big. What if he could be a villain in so many movies?
I gotta see what else this man is in.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think because now I know now he's with MLW, Major League Wrestling, playing a very similar version of this character.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what he's done outside of wrestling. Well, you set that up. I guess I'll start setting up our next match. It's the rematch from last week: Delavar Daivari versus Tejano.
Oh.
Of course, Daivari in his gold lame pants, his glass of thinned gravy in hand. I, again, cannot put over how much I love this version of Daivari. Of just a very rich, well-to-do trust fund kid who got lightly bumped at a wrestling show, and it pissed him off so much he decided to become a wrestler. And he's picking a fight with the former AAA mega champion, freaking Tejano. He's either the bravest man in the world, this Daivari, or the most foolish. But he's here, and he makes sure to hand his drink off screen before Tejano storms into the ring. Daivari immediately powders out, lets Tejano chase him around the ring, and then catches the jump right at the bell. And that's really the story of the match. It's a lot of Daivari actually on top, just sort of like taking rest holds and like really, really slowing things down and frustrating Tejano, who just wants to kick this dude's ass.
I gotta watch The Ginger Weed Man. It's a Full Moon feature. Oh, okay, it's a short. This dude is in Captain America Civil War.
Is he really?
As he plays Vision. Oh, in Civil War reenactors. Okay, it's a Tony Hale and Adam Pally short from 2016. That's still like, this dude's like, he's
awesome.
in Curb.
That's more impressive. Okay, I mean, I'm not surprised. He's very good.
I think he's a comedic. He's good. In It's Always Sun. I think this dude's a comedic actor who He's in documentary now. Yeah, this man might. Is he like UCB and shit? Mike and Molly?
I mean, I wouldn't be, especially there's a real good chance he was like a dramatically trained, got older, got some UCB training because improv is great actor training, and then maybe just got cast a lot in comedies.
He's in Jack and Jill.
Yeah, I wonder because here's the thing, he's like, I could see this dude, and I'm curious about his training because this is not necessarily a comedic role. It's wrestling, so there's melodrama, there is over-the-topness. It can be comedic, but this is a great dramatic performance.
Okay.
This is a great over-the-top dramatic performance.
He's probably Second City or Groundlings because he's in a lot of episodes as punked as a field agent, and a lot of dudes came from that if you were in there.
He's probably the Dax Shepard school of silliness.
Like that?
Yeah, just like that. Thank you for not sandbagging that bit that I admit sucked.
No, man, I love everything you do. You sassy bitch.
I want to shut down the Dax Shepard school of silliness as soon as I said it. I want to shutter those windows. Kind of like I wanted to shutter this match. I like Davari. I like Tejano. I didn't love this match.
Oh, I loved it.
Really? I thought this was kind of... To me, this was the one that... This match felt the most like a WWE match. It was a lot of heat, which is the bad guy just sort of slowly beating up the good guy. It didn't feel very exciting to me. Maybe it was just me, though. That could have just been me.
I just got spoiled for something that happens in Lucha Underground, and I cannot wait for this thing to happen while reading Luis Fernandez-Gil, his Wikipedia. It is fucking baffling. It's not a story. I mean, it's something story related, but it's another character he plays.
Oh my. Okay.
Oh man.
Wow. My mind is reeling. We gotta keep going.
Oh, dang, he holds a black belt in judo.
That's awesome. James, at some point, thank you so much for doing this research on the fly. It was impressive. It was quick. Thank you so much for doing it. I'm going to need you to put it down.
Put the phone down, even though it's an iPod Touch, because I don't like having a smartphone. Guys, who else can make sippin' thin gravy so sexy? Oh, my God. Davari is so cute and hot.
I love him.
I was in his backyard this past week.
Wait, when? How?
Well, I mean, he's billed in this from Los Angeles, but he's from the land of 10,000 lakes.
Ah, with the butter.
No, with the Prince and Harmar superstars of the world.
I cannot believe you found a second reference.
Well, I could have said like the rhyme sayers and then just listed atmosphere, slug, idea, and abilities, and just kept going down the like rappers I know from Minneapolis, St. Paul area.
Sure, but we don't have that kind of time, so thank you for not.
I love both these dudes, so I didn't care who won. I liked something Vampiro saying, talking how like he likes Tejano because he grew up needing to kick someone's ass just to eat lunch.
Yeah,
and
respect.
Says offhandedly, Delavari, that sounds like a piece of wrist jewelry.
He also has Stryker mentions Davari staying in control. Vampiro mentions, yeah, most likely thanks to mommy and daddy's money.
See, I don't like that stuff.
You don't like it? You don't like control? I like the idea of comparing control in a wrestling match to control in the greater world.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, like because that's also how does he have the kind of power to wrestle in. Obviously, we know him, Davari, as a trained wrestler who's been around for years. But in this story, he's just a rich kid. Like, he's never wrestled a day in his life. The only reason he's here is because he has the control with mommy and daddy's money.
Hey, when you do have money, you do have an upper hand because you're like, oh, I can just do whatever I want. I don't need to have a day job and train to be a professional wrestler. I can just train to be a professional wrestler.
Pretty much. Yeah, I could just kind of follow. It's a lot easier to have hobbies when you have money.
Uh-huh.
That's an unfortunate truth.
But let's get to the end of this match.
Well, the match doesn't really have much of an end. Tejano wins by disqualification when Big Rip no clips onto the apron and lariats Tejano dead at 3 minutes 53 seconds. 3 seconds shorter than the initial, which was supposed to be kind of a squash match than the first match. But Big Rick is now aligned with Daivari.
Because he's got that money.
Yeah, Daivari demands the ref count anyway, despite the disqualification. Big Rick shoves the referee down and forces this mockery of a 3 count. The crowd they accuse Daivari's glass of thin gravy being apple juice. I love the apple juice.
Thin gravy.
Thin gravy. Then we get the selling out chant as well. Daivari sips his thin gravy while Big Rick rubs his thumb and index finger together because fuck yeah, he's sold out. That money.
I hated the DQ of this, but I loved the pin because Daivari just is like lounged out on Tejano, unconscious, and it's just it's so good.
It makes sense them putting this in the middle because it's not a great match. It, pushes things forward. It brings Big Rick into the equation, which I think is great for Daivari to have a heavy, to have a sort of heater like Big Rick. And it makes sense. And it was nice that they really didn't have to address it because we knew from last week and we knew everything Big Rick has been about that, yeah, he would agree to work with Daivari for money. Like that's been set up so clearly in his character thus Farley, cousin to Chris, that we didn't need a big long explanation. Like that felt nice, that felt good. It's just hard to have both of these sub 4-minute matches. Like it's weird. Like there are episodes where they will do this, where there's just not a lot of wrestling and there's a lot of story.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of wish they'd split it up a little bit. Maybe this wasn't the episode that Marty debuts, or even they have like a 5-minute but like a banger, just exhibition, and then they have this second match, and then before they get into this third match, like the main event is phenomenal.
Oh,
but it's weird that there's just these two. I don't want to say stinkers. They're just not designed to do great.
Yeah. Well, you said Big Rick was a heater. I used to be a heater. Did you know that?
I used to stand at the corner and go, and then single mothers would drape their clothes over you to dry when the actual dryer was busted.
I'd eat a whole bunch of pasta before bed, and then my spouse, either Nicole or previous, would say, "Yeah, man, you radiate heat." And then I'd say, "Oh, I don't know why. I guess that's just my body." "No, James, it's because you would eat pasta, just so much pasta or pizza right before bed." Because I stopped doing that, and guess what? I'm cool during the night.
Hell yeah, baby.
And for the summer.
Hey, you're cool to me all the time.
I'm cool spot.
Ah, yeah. There is a very nice sort of Kids in the Hall, Mr. Show style cut, where after the match, we kind of like swoop into Dario's office. He moves from his peaky little blinders, where he watches the wrestling, to sit down so that he may better clench his fists.
Have you, so Mr. Show was very revolutionary from transitioning from scene to scene in cool ways. I think it was an old comedy, Bang Bang, they were talking about that because Scott Aukerman wrote for the show. And people would be like, "Yeah, man, it's so cool, this and that. And like, how did you do that?" And they're like, "Well, either we immediately knew a good way to transition from scene to scene, or we would just do the cop out and it was someone watching something on TV." And then after them saying that, whoever asked about it was like, "Oh yeah, that is how you guys did a lot of those."
It's one of the few times where the question of like, "How did you guys do that?" is very disappointing. Actually, there's another time of, I've always liked this. It's from the Mick Foley's first book, Have a Nice Day, where he talks about like growing up and being a huge Terry Funk fan. Terry Funk from the golden days of the Territory, Texas, a lot of Southern NWA stuff. Huge Japanese star, one of the big gaijins in Japan for many years for many companies.
Hey, Sean, real quick, do you think I'd make a good gaijin?
Here's the problem. You're actually very likable.
Sean,
people love you, and
thank
gaijins
you.
are villains. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. So I think the answer is actually no.
All right. Well, listeners will remember that I've asked Sean this so many times whenever we bring up Gaijin, and every single time Sean forgets that this is a bit.
What are we doing?
Oh no. All right, Terry Funk.
So Cactus talks about how he finally gets this first match with Terry, and he's so excited. The thing he's most excited about is to learn how Terry does this beautiful punch, this beautiful just punch to the face. It looks amazing every time. How does he do it so well every time? And he's in the corner. Terry comes in. He winds up. He just punches him in the head as hard as he can.
I was like, the only way this story can end is it's just a real punch, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those times where it's like a sweet moment, and they very quickly became like very good friends. But part of that is that kill your idols moment of like, oh yeah, I guess you do cut to the TV a lot of the times.
Oh, is Terry Funk who trained Steven Seagal for stage fighting?
Not for stage fighting. He trained Steven Seagal for pooping his pants.
Ooh.
Yeah. Fuck Steven Seagal. We haven't said it enough yet. Fuck Steven Seagal.
Because one, he is a chud of a man, but also on set, why does his punches look so real? Because he's literally punching stuntmen.
Yeah, he's terrible to work with.
And
he's a terrible person, and he's terrible to work with.
And people will be like, well, then why do stunt people work with him? He works almost exclusively, at least from the last I heard, in not America. So these are probably people who need the work, don't know what they remember Steven Seagal as an 80s and 90s action star. We get to work with him. He's just punching me straight in the sternum.
Yeah, and why did he get to work with all those people in the 80s and 90s? Mob connections.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, Steven Seagal has always sucked. I'm sorry, Under Siege fans. But back to Dario, who is sitting at his desk, clenching his fists, maybe getting a handy from a mysterious set of hands. No, it's a ruse! The hands were Katrina's, and they were reaching for the key around his neck.
Dang it, I thought you were going to say it's a rouge, and I'd say that big-tittied bat from Sonic, yes please.
Oh man, that'd be if you could get a handy from any Sonic character, why is it Rouge?
It's not.
Really?
No, it'd probably be Sally Acorns or Amy. I think they're so cute.
They're very cute. I still kind of want a handy from Rouge.
No, you want a handy from, what's her name? The Metallica, like half robotic rabbit lady.
I never read the comics. Her name is Bunny.
Okay.
But I don't really know the characters outside of like being able to recognize them. So I don't really know Bunny. I don't have an emotional connection to Bunny like I do Rouge the Bat, who I want to receive a handy from.
This could also be from the cartoon show, but what I was implying is you want her robotic arm to jack you off.
James, don't tell me from which anamorphic furry character I want to receive a hand job from. I know in my heart and my brain heart from which Sonic character I most wish to receive a handy from. And it's Tails Prower.
Ooh!
Katrina has appeared in the office. She's reaching for the key around his neck, and she's here to let Dario know that if it's a sacrifice he wants, a sacrifice he'll get. When Mil Muertes comes back more powerful than ever. And Dario's like, that's cool. I like that shit. Next week, Phoenix versus Mil Muertes in Katarina, what do you have in mind? And she's like, well, let me whisper death match in your ear, then vanish into the night while you bite down real horny style on your fist like a cartoon wolf.
He came from the thought of a death match, dude.
I'm very curious to what a Lucha Underground death match will be. Because the casket match was brutal. That was a brutal match. The masks were ripped apart. Everyone just bled buckets. Fuck. This is going to be a problem. I'm excited, but this is going to be a problem. Meanwhile, at a rail yard, Black Lotus, the woman whose family was killed by Dario's brother monster, wanders in all black with an overnight bag. I don't know where we are, but I know where I must go. Black Lotus has finished her journal and therefore must leave it behind for her trainer/kidnapper, El Dragon Azteca. He reads by candlelight when a voice comes in while on the last page. If you don't want her to die, you're going to need my help. That help coming from Chavo Guerrero, baby.
And remember, in the last 28 episodes, we've done a turn of our thoughts on Chavo. First, we're like, oh, man, you should shit in his goddamn duffel bag. But now we're like, man, he's real cool. He's on the side of good, maybe? Not really, just the side of preserving his family's legacy in Mexico.
And safety. If you remember, the last time we've seen Chavo, the entire country of Mexico has put a hit out on him for what he did, for what he's been doing to legends. He's been trying to unmask Blow Damon Jr. He's just been being a real shit to Pimpy as well. So I love that. It's not that Chavo's coming back as a hero. And they even Chavo acknowledges our families have a rich history. A bloody history, but a rich history. And El Dragon Azteca immediately just shoots back. Your family are liars and cheaters. Dragon Azteca cannot trust Chavo, but Chavo needs something. El Dragon Azteca is still respected enough that he can clear Chavo's name. Like, it's a mutually... You don't have to be able to trust me. There is something very mutually beneficial. I need my name cleared. So it's kind of, I mean, it's tricky. It's a little bit of this, I don't know why this sort of parable has been dropped a lot recently, but the scorpion and the frog. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, that scorpion says, yeah, man, I'll ride on your back. And the frog says, oh, but I'm scared you'll sink me. And he's like, no, I won't. And then they start going across. And he's like, hey, you're not going to sting me and sink us. And he's like, no. And then he does. And he's like, no, you doomed us both. And he said, hey, that's what scorpions do.
Perfect. That's a little bit what's happening here. But they have to cross the river. And they have to make sure Black Lotus stays safe. So the frog, El Dragon Azteca, Plinky drinks with this scorpion, Chavo Guerrero. And Chavo vows to protect Black Lotus, like his own familia.
Yeah, because I think it was Chavo who said, our family has a legacy of liars, cheaters. Well, the Chavo name is associated with liars, cheaters, but above all else, family.
Yeah, the Guerrero name.
Oh, yes. Not the Chavo name.
Yeah, the Chavo, all Chavos, no. Because, of course, yeah, the famous, which is a very nice way to sort of, like, tie in with Eddie and his work, and their work together, tagging in the WWE. Their theme song, of course, being We Lie, We Cheat, We Steal. But also being very tied, like, being very tied to Familia, being very tied to Viva La Raza. It was so fun to see them when they were together, of them being like, we will cheat and lie to everyone but each other. Unless Chavo has to turn heel, in which case, whatever. But they were such like, but it's us against the world.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see Chavo come back.
This was some Mortal Kombat type shit. Even though, hey, Chavo never left. He is a producer of this show.
Sure, I'm very excited to see Chavo come back on screen.
And I do like I'll clear your debt, but you must protect her with your life. That was the last thing we see. And then they go on hanging out, and we get into our final matchup.
A trios championship ladder match, the crew versus the odd throuple. Ooh. Ugly is as ugly does, and Vampiro promises this match will be ugly.
And ladies love Cool Angelico. Yeah, LL Cool A. I know I said his name white as hell.
He's very sexy. The crew come out first, of course. The odd throuple come out and are jumped at the top of the ramp. Like, they barely get out the door before the crew jumps them. And Evilise is still on crutches, which I did not expect that to be the case. There's like a real awkward stare down with her and Bale, who just stands there. Because, like, is she cleared to perform? Can I wrestle her? Eventually, she does make her way down the stairs, according to Mike Stryker, with the spirit of Willis Reed, 1970 NBA champion from New York Knicks, who appeared in Game 7 after tearing a muscle in his thigh. Trivia!
Sean, why do I have this down? The crew is Pikachu, Electric, and Mousy.
That's a great question. They are very mousy.
I should have put down the crew is Voltorb, Electric, and Ballsy.
Mm-hmm. And then the odd throuple is Electrode, Electric, and Self-Destructive.
Wait, well, I mean, that's also Voltorb.
Does he learn Self-Destruct as Voltorb? I thought he doesn't learn until he evolves.
No, you just have to keep leveling up.
Okay. So you keep pressing that B button every time your Pokemon tries to evolve, and he will not.
Oh, the me on a Friday is Electabuzz, Electric, and Stoned.
That's funny because the me on a Friday is Ash Ketchum. I call my mother and I ask her how she's doing, and sometimes she will send me money.
Oh, hell yeah. But money you earned that for some weird reason she is holding on to.
Yes, of course. That. Let's go with that. Son of Havoc and Angelico clear the ring, pull out a ladder, and Bale punches Evilise in the face. It is such a wild series of cuts of just like, yeah, wrestle, good guys. And then Bale's just like, you know what, fuck it. And finally punches this woman on one leg in the face.
Good.
But Stryker clarifies she's in the match. That's fair. That's fair. Someone has to punch Evilise in the face. Bale was just the first one brave enough to do it.
I guess what would have been like the more respectable thing to do is just pull her crutches away.
I guess. Yeah, there's no like good thing.
As I was thinking, I was like, yes, this would just remove her crutches, like take her crutches away. But then I'm like, no, James, that's a really fucked up thing to do.
Everything is the fact that she's I don't know how legit this injury is. If she's legit working on one leg, that's real fucked up.
Yeah.
That's scary fucked up.
I guess, like, if you were to be walking on the street and you saw someone with crutches and someone came up to them, what would be more fucked up? Them getting punched in the face or someone just grabbing their crutches and just ripping them away?
That's so hard. I almost want to say the crutches because crutches are expensive.
Yeah.
Like, it depends how hard you're punching someone in the face, too. Like, if you're punching someone in the face to, like, break a jaw, that's real fucked up.
I feel like punching them in the face, you're like, oh, they probably deserved this. There's some business going on here. But pulling away the crutches is being ableist and just kind of like shitting on someone's disability.
Did I ever tell you about that time at my local lawn fete for my local church? Where there were three of us. We were probably like you were in high school.
Can you go back? What is a lawn fete?
So a lawn fete is like a very small carnival.
Oh, okay.
Usually churches will put them on as fundraisers. So like, yeah, it would be like carnival, like, you know, small carnival games. There's like a little mini putt thing. Mostly it would be a series of games.
Okay.
And if you're a really nice place, maybe there's like a scrambler ride.
Oh,
I know. So we found a pair of crutches. I don't remember why, but we found a pair of crutches. And so we would just kind of like set up different spots in the lawn fete for my friend Justin to start crutching along. And then I would run up behind him, steal one of the crutches like from under his leg. And he would catch himself and then chase me waving the other crutch in the air, like full running on both feet. And this poor woman, we did that. We ran the corridor. And we don't have anywhere else to go, so we just come back to the lawn fete. And she's still there. We're like, I believed you. I believed you.
I have a story just like that, except I was a child. So my brother, sister, and I, this is really fucked up. Even though like it seems like, hey, we're just like we're three kids during the summertime out in front of our house. We put like a bunch of, it might have been just fake blood from Halloween, and like made us look bruised up. It could have been ketchup as well, all over ourselves, and like mangled ourselves in our bike and just laid out front in front of a telephone pole. and waited for people to walk by to see how they'd react. And the first people to walk by were an older couple. And they're like, oh my God, we need to call an ambulance. And we're like, oh no, we run out and we're like, no, we're just messing, we're okay. And
it was a ruse. It was a ruse.
We're so upset. They're like, don't you do that. You could have gotten in trouble, this and that. And we're like, okay, sorry. And never did it again.
Aww.
It's so vivid in my mind of that instance.
You know what I want to see? Unlike that, what I want to see happen again and again and again is that Angelico rip that shirt off, climb the ladder, all the ladies go, oh yeah.
This was my ladies' love, cool Angelico.
Yes. It's a lot of back and forth. Like a lot of it, Son of Havoc and Angelico, because Evilise cannot work so much because she has one good leg. Why is she in this match? Havoc sets up the ladder. Castro and Cisco double stomp DDT combo onto Havoc. And Angelico stops the crew from winning pretty much because, it's 2-on-3.
Yeah.
So he stops them from winning, but he's still getting double teamed. He gets thrown outside. Cisco bounces his head off of the boards that are boarding up the window from Dario's office. Then he rips off the boards and just starts whapping him with it.
Why is Dario on the phone right now? He should be watching this.
Always. He was on the phone last week too when Mundo threw Alberto through the window. I think he picks up the phone to pretend like he's busy when he knows the camera's on him.
I like that you can hear him faintly say, yeah, can I call you back? And then hangs up the phone and then just sipping on his thin gravy, looking out saying, hell yeah.
I think he's talking to like sponsors or someone else who's watching the show because you could also hear him faintly say, why? What's going on?
Oh, okay.
Like there's not just an absolute fucking bloodbath outside.
And real quick, Dario
Yeah.
might be the hottest man in Lucha Underground.
Oh, that's hard because we just saw Angelico take his shirt off.
I know, but except when
And
he's
Puma.
being a weasel, the way he carries himself. Maybe I just like this actor and we need to watch him in more stuff, but I enjoy this man.
He's awesome. I do not blame you. I also enjoy this man. What I do not enjoy is Castro setting up these tables while Angelico gets beaten with window boards. Is set up on the double, so there's two tables outside. Angelico gets put onto the table, and Cisco begins climbing a ladder that is set up on the outside. So it's a ladder, two tables, all outside of Dario's office. Angelico comes to just in time to realize where he is, kicks Castro off, tips the ladder that Cisco is on, and Cisco tumbles through the hole where a window used to be into Dario's office. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Eventually, so there's now, at this point, there are three tables set up. There is one table in the ring, which we sort of skimmed past, and then two tables on the outside, none of them broken. Eventually, we see Bale try to powerbomb Havoc through one of the tables. Havoc slips out, but then Cisco flies out of the office window, Suicida style. This match is insane.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this is like their second gear. Like, we're not even in the final act. Castro climbs, Havoc cuts him off. Havoc climbs, he gets thrown off the ladder, but lands on the rope and springboard moonsault Cisco on his way down. Eventually, Havoc sets up Cisco on the table. Bale tries to cut him off. Havoc kicks him off from the top rope to the outside through the two tables. We have eliminated two of our three tables. There is one left, and there is a Son of Havoc on the top rope, perched in shooting star position. He flies, and this is one of the scariest landings I've ever seen. And because they just nailed that last table spot, they had to keep this shot. He kind of lands, I feel like Son of Havoc landed on his head and neck instead of his full body on the shooting star press, and does not break the table.
Yeah.
Which is brutal. Like, from what I've heard, I've gone through very few tables in my life, but the thing more painful than going through a table is when the table does not break.
Yep.
So that all that landing on your head and your neck instead of your torso that was very scary. Thankfully he is fine. The table sort of just flips over. Cisco rolls out. Son of Havoc, you take a nap. You deserved it. You're done. You're good. I think we sort of skipped past this. At some point, oh yeah, because it was when the tables were on the outside. What Angelico's plan was to climb the ladder to the top of the office, and then from the office jump through the double tables. Mm-hmm. If only Castro was not there with a kendo stick and beats the shit out of Angelico.
Oh.
Like real mean looking. So Son of Havoc almost broke his neck. He's done. Angelico is left in a pile of human flesh on top of the office. And all that's left for now is Castro to start climbing the ladder. We got it. Finally, we're here, boys. New trios champions, the crew. All Castro does is need to reach for the titles. But the problem is they left Angelico on top of the office. And you don't do that. Running shotgun drop kick from the roof of the office into the ring, knocking Castro off the ladder.
Insane.
Fucking brutal. And who's the only person left standing on one leg? Ivelisse climbs the ladder. Angelico goes to hold the ladder for her, but he's he can't get above his stomach. He's just on his stomach holding the ladder steady while Bale crawls over Angelico, tries to get up to where Ivelisse is. She bites his fingers, reaches for the titles, pulls one down, ring the damn bell. Ladies and gentlemen, and still your trios champions, the Odd Throuple. After the match, Son of Havoc pulls Cisco down the ladder entirely, bitten fingers and all. The team climbed the ladder together, they pulled down all the belts, and it's a feel-good moment for the ages.
Oh!
Love to see it.
They're the best. This team up is so good. And I hope the next time we see them, Ivelisse is in full tip-top shape because she's a great wrestler. I want to see her wrestle.
She's phenomenal. The team is phenomenal. And I really hope she heals, because one of these weeks I will do my job and actually research it, because if she's it's so unfair and it's so unlucky if she got actually injured as soon as she won those belts. That sucks.
Yeah. But hey, them's the breaks, baby. And by the breaks, I mean we got to break this podcast and do some plugs.
I love it. And just like you will love it if you come over to twitch.tv/Goose Von Kaiser and we'll talk about our feelings and shit. Get sweaty with me on twitch.tv/Goose Von Kaiser.
Yeah, hey guys, June 3rd, it's a Saturday. I am doing a 6-hour live stream from noon to 6 p.m. because my wisdom teeth need out and my insurance does not cover it all. I need to raise $350. All right, that's the goal. And each $50 I'm going to take a bite from the Pocky 1 chip challenge. People are like, well, you're going to do 7 chips? No, I'm doing come on, guys. No one else is just eating the whole chip besides a few people. Most people are just taking a nibble because that will burn your mouth. However, someone has already donated a very large sum, $300. If we can get 350 in the first hour, I will do the whole chip at once.
You got it. Your call to action. The challenge has been laid at your feet. Will you pick it up? Or will you flee like the cowards I know you not to be?
So ways you can donate right now, there's links in the description, or just wait, go to follow us, twitch.tv/Mostly Speakin' Sentai, at Mostly Speakin' Sentai on YouTube, or at MSS Pod on Facebook to be up to date and see it go live right when it does. Yay, yay. Also, I have a single coming out on June 2nd. Yes, that would be that Friday. Oh no, June 9th, I apologize. June 9th, I'm going to be promoting the heck out of it. Follow me on TikTok, Marshland Monster. It's called Pulpit Aesthetic. It's a Mullum House remix of my song Pulpit Aesthetic, wherever music is found. Listen to that. Listen to the Dragon Boy Suede stuff. Another Dragon Boy Suede collab is coming out in July as well. So a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline and coming in your ass. Go to MLMpod.com to find out information about my other podcasts. Give us a 5-star iTunes review or Spotify review, please. It truly helps. Someone found our podcast recently because they just searched Sentai, and we were one of the first ones to come up, because it got bumped up in the feed. So please check all that stuff out. And patreon.com/MLMpod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single Friday. This week, we are doing Terrifier 2 as a follow-up to our Terrifier 1 episode that I did for Lil Corey's birthday, and it's June again. He's another year older. So please check all this stuff out. And if you're a $10 patron, you get exclusive content monthly. Sean's been on a lot of that stuff, most recently Invisible Dad. And you got to come over and watch The Lost Empire with us. We watched that Friday, and that movie is wild. It's the same director as Chopping Mall.
Awesome. And real quick, I'm an idiot. When Johnny Mundo winks at the camera in his interview and says, "But you already knew that," that's Alberto's catchphrase.
Oh.
He's a cheeky little bastard, that one.
Hell yeah. And speaking of cheeky little bastards, $10 patrons also get exclusive shout outs on every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those, starting with Steve F.
They're a joke.
Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour.
Treat them like a joke.
Alex Z, the Waz.
They're a joke.
Orion, a.k.a. formerly rapper Defo. He will be making music in the future.
Treat him like a joke.
Jordan B, the Chaos Witch.
They're a joke.
Joshua, my Bickle brother in common law.
Treat him like a joke.
Steve Barnes, a sweet child of time. Wheel of Time is coming back in September, so be on the lookout. I'm back with him.
And they may be coming back, but they're a joke.
My mother.
I would never treat your mother like a joke. Shouts out to Margie.
Lil Corey's BFF and roommate, former soon, Shane.
They're a joke.
That fed.
Treat him like a joke.
Twitch.tv/Core Winning. It's Corwin.
They're a joke.
And of the Rom Complex and Formulaic, and of Twitch.tv/R2Shelby2. It's R2Shelby2.
Treat him like a joke.
I've been James.
And I've been Sean.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
But you already knew that. That's what we should have said after we said our names.
Ah, true.
Dang it.
Oh,
Bye.
well.